This is the time to focus. Continue to grow and develop for our fundamentals. We got to apply pressure.
Hi, I'm Paul Costanzo, managing editor at PlayMichigan.com, and I am joined today by Drew Ellis, lead writer, also at PlayMichigan.com. We are here to talk about the most exciting thing of fall camp for NFL teams, and that is the Detroit Lions being featured on HBO's Hard Knocks. Drew, I'm excited. Are you excited?
This is probably the most excited thing for Lions fans in many, many years, to be honest.
It is. It's a very low bar, but we're jumping over it. Just the quick and dirty details. The show premieres Tuesday, August 9th, 10 p.m. on HBO. I feel like most people are probably streaming this or will be streaming it. HBO Max, you can watch it basically anytime after it airs. But again, 10 p.m. August 9th. We just want to talk about the things that we're kind of expecting from the show, what we want to see from it, what we are excited about. So this is going to be less diving into the Lions as a football team and more diving into the entertainment product. So this, if you are counting, is 2 videos in a row now for folks at Play Michigan who are more excited to talk about videos about the teams than they are about the actual teams. So that's a really good take on the state of Detroit sports. The first, Drew, what are you expecting from the series here?
I've really enjoyed Hard Knocks in the past, no matter what team it's on. I feel like it's a really fascinating look behind at what really goes on during training camp. But I also have a low bar here where I just want to see that this is not as bad of a franchise as we all think it is. And I want to see a competent organization being run by Dan Campbell and staff. Like, I think Dan Campbell's obviously an easy, going to become an easy media darling. He's very enduring, but I want to see just how competent the guy actually is at running an NFL team, or if he's just kind of a rah-rah guy. So I think what I'm most interested in is there's so much optimism right now, and I think it's just because everything else has been so bad that people want to win or so bad. But is optimism warranted from what you're actually going to see in terms of the work being put in behind the scenes? Is this a team that really looks like it could take a step forward this year based on the work and just the overall cohesiveness of the coaching staff and the players?
Yeah, that's good. I know you kind of got into like what you want to see a little bit too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You jumped the gun on my question, but that's good. That's a better answer.
I'm very excited. Just very excited.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what I want to see is some of that behind the scenes where you're thinking, hey, they kind of know what they're doing. I expect to see a lot of crazy Dan Campbell stuff, just because I think that's what everybody's expecting, and I think that they want to give the people what they want. But I'm also expecting them to kind of maybe get away from that a little bit at times and show more of his serious side as a coach, if there is one. If that exists, which I guess what you want to see. Because I think that, TV shows like to swerve us a little bit, right? They like to, give us something that we maybe didn't know. And Dan Campbell talking about biting kneecaps. I guess if they show him biting kneecaps, that also would be very high value entertainment. But that stuff is what everybody's anticipating. So I think that I wouldn't be surprised if HBO gives us a look at the man, not at the podium, that isn't so crazy. So it's going to be interesting to see no matter what, though.
I think he's a very genuine guy. I don't think Dan Campbell's going to put on an act for HBO camera. I think you're going to get exactly what you expect. And I guess that's the thing. I feel like I think he's a player's coach, obviously. Players love him. And he's actually been in the Detroit organization too. So I think he at least acknowledges how awful this franchise has been and how bad the fans want a winner. So I feel like that passion comes out of him, and that's what will make people who don't really follow the Lions maybe become somewhat of a fan of Dan Campbell and company. But again, you still want to see, okay, great, Dan, you're a great character. now let's see a serious head coach who can lead a franchise. So
real quick, outside of the show and maybe as a result of it, do you see some odds changing, since we are a website that talks about sports betting? Do you feel like people are going to put some money on the Lions because they're going to watch the show, they're going to fall in love with some certain things?
I mean, as long as they come off good, yeah. I mean, if they come off looking like clowns, then you might see those odds fall back. But I would think this show, I'd like to look back at some of the other teams that have done it and kind of how their odds have changed. But I would think HBO is going to try to present a positive outlook on the Detroit Lions. And so this is a national audience that's going to get to see positive things out of the Detroit Lions, which doesn't happen very often. So I would think the odds will see an uptick. They've been seeing an uptick since the draft. I mean, they're now third in the NFC North race, with the Bears falling behind them in a lot of odds races, which is a little bit different. So there's a positive momentum, and I think this is only going to help that positive momentum.
Yeah, I agree. One of the fun things about this show and what they've done in the past, and I'm assuming they're going to do again, they kind of follow different players for different parts of episodes. Who's the guy that you are most looking forward to them focusing on throughout or during the show?
I guess I hope there's a lot of focus on Jeff Okudah. I feel, I'm a Lions fan, so I've been frustrated with Jeff Okudah, but I think I was more frustrated with the idea of drafting a cornerback third in the draft with such great quarterbacks out there. And I think it's been almost a curse for him. He's had to carry that burden with a really bad coaching staff that didn't help him. He's been injured these last 2 years. I guess I would just like to see, is there anything left in this guy from even just from a mentality standpoint? What kind of confidence level does he have? Can he just contribute? Like, I'm actually rooting very hard for the guy because it's a tough spot to be in, and I just hope maybe they can tap into something where he can at least be a regular contributor. Fingers crossed, maybe he could ever live up to that draft pick. I doubt it, but I'm hoping he can be a really good story to come out of this season. A little bit of a redemption for him to where he can be a functioning cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah, and the thing that we will get to see too is how healthy he is. You get a little bit of a glimpse at that, so that'll be cool. That'll be cool. One for me, and this is kind of the polar opposite of Okudah, but Penny Sewell, second-year tackle, who by all accounts early on in training camp is just crushing folks. And he had a very good rookie year too. So I'm excited to see maybe what level of dominance he has, but also kind of how his teammates react to him, because he's a very young player. I think he just turned 21. I mean, so he's a very young guy anyway. But when you're that good, like, how much of a leader is he on a team that does have, it's a young team, very young team, but does have some veteran leadership in places, and how much they look to him. How do they react to some of the stuff he does on the field? Because I'm sure, he's pancaking folks, and there's got to be some whooping and hollering going on. So I want to see that. That's the guy that I'm excited to see, and just also his personality, and kind of what that is, because offensive linemen, we don't see that as much. One other fun thing is that there's always somebody who comes out of these shows that either is completely a meme that we just use for the rest of the season, or that kind of becomes a fan favorite or a favorite of fans nationwide. Really, who do you think is going to be that guy in a good way coming out of this Hard Knocks?
I don't think this is an under the radar pick. I think this is a guy that's already kind of gotten a lot of attention for being kind of a character, and that would be Jamal Williams. When they brought him in last year, he was a bit of a soundbite guy. There was a really cool speech that came out just the other day from camp where he's talking to the team about letting people know who Detroit is and changing their identity. And he's just a big personality. And I expect if they put the camera on him enough, they're going to get a lot of good sound bites, probably some good stuff in the running back room when they're watching film or something. So I think he's somebody that's definitely going to be an easy one for people to fall in love with pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Jamal Williams is going to be a really fun part of this show. One other that I'm looking at is Frank Ragnow. And I do think that like maybe some more of the hardcore Lions fans and people in the organization like know the type of personality that he is, but I think that for some of the casual fans, you're going to start to get to see a little bit. He's an interior lineman. Like they don't get much spotlight at all. People barely know their names in a lot of cases. I mean, unless you're like an all-timer Hall of Famer kind of guy. So I'm really interested to see like how much they follow him. I know he's like a big outdoorsy fisherman guy. And that always plays well, of course, in Michigan. So I'm going to see if they follow him around on stuff like that. But I do think that if they focus on him a decent amount, which I think they will, because he is one of those veteran leader guys on this roster. I think that Detroit fans and really probably fans all over the country are going to fall in love with him a little bit. So he's the one that I've got my eye on there. You can't draft him in fantasy football, so there's that.
They do go to some of their homes, so maybe we go to Ragnow's house and he's got some just wildlife running around like crazy. And the guy from Arkansas, he played Arkansas. I mean, who knows? You might see it. You might get a little hog running around. I don't know.
That would be it. He would the internet would break right then and there, and the whole show would be worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, any other thoughts, Drew? I mean, do you plan on like watching this live as it's happening?
It'll be must watch TV for me, for sure. I just like I kind of mentioned with Campbell, like I feel like right now with guys like Campbell, Sewell, there's guys out there that are clearly trying to take this franchise and grab it by the collar and say, this is not who we are anymore, which is what I've always wanted. I've wanted that in our leaders. That's a whole nother story in terms of how I feel about some of the past players, but I want to see that play out on this show, and I want to not only see it, but I want to believe it. I want to believe it's not just talk. I know they've been embracing this SOL thing as kind of like we know what we are and we're ready to move on type of thing, which is good. So I just want to see something that gives me some realistic hope that things are on the right track, and I do think they are. I'm coming in very optimistic as well, and I just want that optimism to hold up, I guess, throughout the 5-week show. So,
yeah, I agree, and I think it will. I mean, we're known for getting overly optimistic as Lions fans as the season is about to start, and I'm sure that this is only going to further that.
Yeah, I'm sure by the end of the show I'll be getting a Super Bowl tattoo on my arm or something. So,
that'll be our next video. Join us when Drew goes to the tattoo parlor.
Video of me screaming out.
I look forward to it. Well, Drew, thank you. Again, the show starts Tuesday, August 9th, 10 p.m. is when it airs on HBO. It will be on HBO Max, or just if you have HBO, I'm sure you can stream it through that on your TV as well.
Don't ask me for my passwords, Paul. I'm not giving them out. Okay, you're just gonna have to buy it like everybody else.
Don't lie to the people, Drew. Don't lie to the people. Thank you for joining us. I'm Paul. That's Drew. We'll see you next time.
From this time last year, we're at a higher level. These guys are really competing. They're smart. They're relentless. These guys will be terror in the league.